All right.
So true.
Columbus time.
Yeah, give me some Columbus action, dude, because
I
I
saw
got
it
a
on
good
the-
segue into another topic, I think.
I saw it on the news today about it.
I was there.
I can't believe you were there.
So where I work, Roost Chris, is right up the street, or right down the street, as in literally Eastern Avenue is where that statue is, and I could throw a baseball from that statue to Roost Chris. And I'm working curbside, and my manager comes up to me, and my curbside manager goes, "Can you guys go check up on what's going up there by the statue?" So we walk up there, and there's a mob of like probably 300 people surrounding this statue, and everyone's screaming, yelling. People are throwing like tension straps and like climbing up on the statue and wrapping it around the head and between the arms and shit.
God damn.
Well, I heard it was a peaceful protest at first. Would you say that?
Well, they obviously went there with the intention of tearing the statue down, because what happened was they wrapped it all around, and then they had these straps, and then people were just like lining up playing tug of war with the statue. And at first I'm watching, I'm like, they're not getting this fucking statue down. They look like fucking idiots. And then 30 seconds later, boom, the statue topples down off the pedestal. And I was like, oh my God, they did it. They immediately, hold on, let me light this cigarette.
I heard
they had brought like a dolly to wheel it and stuff. I mean, they had
It
totally
landed
planned
on
that.
a
I just want
dolly.
to know, because
I have
heard
a video of it.
I heard, tell me if you think this is true or not. I heard that it was a peaceful protest at first, and the majority of the people there were peaceful, but a smaller group came in and took the statue
Absolutely
down.
not. I don't buy that for a
You don't
fucking
think
second.
so?
No, because it's such. Why else would we decide to start protesting a Christopher Columbus statue other than the fact that it's been a trend lately to start tearing down statues of shit?
You don't protest a statue.
You don't protest this. No one's ever
He's not
said
a conscious
anything
being.
about that statue ever before. No one's walked by that and been offended.
I think there have been
also,
peaceful
to be
protests
fair-
around statues.
To be fair, most of the statues that people want taken down were put up by like the daughters of the Confederacy and shit.
I just
which
saw
are just put up to kind of like
that
stoke
one of Frederick
people.
Douglass got torn down somewhere.
I don't know about that.
I saw that on it was trending on Twitter.
Well,
I didn't hear about that, but also it's like that might just be the quote unquote rights response, being like, if you're tearing down statues, we're gonna tear this.
I've
one
talked
down
it
too.
about. I've talked to Joe about this, and honestly, when it comes to the whole Confederate statues,
Hold on, let me
it
finish the
yeah,
story.
Yeah, go on.
So they tear down the statue, they get it on a dolly, they roll it off to the water, and they throw it in the water. And this is how I know it wasn't a peaceful protest before that, because 10 minutes after that, everyone's fucking gone. And maybe it's because they're afraid of the police coming, but police were there. They weren't doing anything about it.
I'm told
They
to
were,
stand down.
There were exactly. There were 2 or 3 cop cars out there, it looked like. And obviously they're not going to run in there with 300 people and try to knock the people down off the statue. But why else would a group of people come with tension straps and a dolly and everything if the whole initial aspect of it was to tear that down? I've never seen a protest there ever. I go there, I'm there 4 or 5 times a week for 2 years. I've never once seen anyone, not even one person with a sign out in front of that statue, give a shit about it. But recently, what happens is it's a trend now. So everyone goes, well, what statue can we tear down? Oh, there's a statue of Christopher Columbus. Let's go tear that one down. And then they organized a day. 300 people showed up there. It got torn down. Everyone was cheering.
On the 4th of July. It's not
On
a
the 4th of
coincidence.
July. And then 10 minutes later, everyone's gone.
Yeah, it's like I was saying before. I've talked about it with Joe before, and when it comes to the whole Confederate statues, I get that. Like I get that because a lot of those statues were erected in the 20s during the during an era when they were literally put up as like a fuck you.
Yeah.
To certain groups.
They're
of people.
using like the last of their slave money
Yes.
to be like, all right, fuck you guys.
But at the same time, when it comes to a figure like Christopher Columbus, like regardless of what you want to say, it's in a neighborhood. It's Little Italy. He's of Italian American, or not? Well, I guess technically Italian American. He was the original Italian American, I guess you could say.
Yeah, yeah.
And like
He was Italian Indian, dude.
yeah, Italian Indian. But like when I heard on the news today that they actually hired a team of divers and they took it out of the harbor and they're re-erecting it. And
Oh, they really are?
Yeah, they're re-erecting the
I
statue.
heard they pulled it out. I didn't know what they were doing.
they pulled it
with
out and they're putting it back up. And
Really? Why?
because look, when it comes to Confederate
It'll probably
statues,
look cooler, to be honest.
yeah, and first of all, like I said, The Confederate statues is one thing. If you want to put up Robert E. Lee Park or something like that, but these things, I feel like personally, are something that, when it comes to the Columbus statue in general, because I guess I really don't care if they tear down a
Yeah.
statue of
I
Robert
mean,
E. Lee or something like that.
To be fair, I get that Columbus was a bad guy. Like, if we're looking at it in today's terms, he like invaded land and then just like annexed it and took it for other people and pushed its native inhabitants out. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, that should be a reminder. Be like, all right, all the cool stuff we have now is because of this bad thing. We shouldn't forget about the bad thing and throw it in the harbor.
Yeah, and also it ignores the reality of history, which is like the big conversation now is about Mount Rushmore, and are they going to disband of Mount Rushmore because that was sacred land to the Lakota Sioux? But if you look back in the history of those populations, the Lakota Sioux were an empire. They were an empire that conquered the Midwest. And they conquered that land from another tribe and took over that land that was a sacred land to another tribe. So we're acting like, for whatever reason, there's this historical inaccuracy that's present in society that says that Western civilization or European civilization was the only civilization that was ever warring and conquering and taking over land and things like that. And it's just not true. So you have a statue of Christopher Columbus, which is like, okay, I'm a quarter Italian. He's a dude who came over. I don't fucking really identify with my Italian heritage. It didn't really hit me on that level. But at the same time, it's like, there are ways to go about this when it comes to that figure that, like, if you want to have like a vote as a city and say, hey, can we vote to replace this statue with another statue? That's how you go about it. You don't organize a protest and let a mob of people decide for the entire city what they're going to do, because that's not an inclusive process. All right, that's in a neighborhood.
Not democratic.
That's in a neighborhood that is Little Italy. And if they went into Greek town and took down some statue of some fucking Greek dude or whatever because he did something that they don't approve of, that would piss me off, because I actually do identify with my Greek culture much more. And to see that another group of people can come in and say, fuck you, this, we don't like this, so we're coming in your neighborhood, we're going to tie straps around it, take it down and throw it in the fucking water. That's bullshit, dude. That's bullshit. I get it when it comes to the Confederate stuff and the statues that were erected as a specific reason to say fuck you to certain groups of people. I don't really complain about that. Do I think it's the right way of going about it? Not necessarily, but also I don't really care that much. And that's pretty much where I stand on that. But when it comes to those types of things, like Columbus 500 fucking years ago, and people learn their one version of history, and their version of history says anybody on a fucking horse, any white guy on a horse, we're tearing them down. It's like, that's fucking bullshit, dude.
Yeah, it's interesting because, like, I think that kind of started, I feel like that trend started in, like, Philadelphia, where people were, like, trying to take down the Columbus statue there, which is, like, a very iconic thing in their city. They have it, like, in one of the parks, and then, like, from the statue, you can see all of the big skyline of Philadelphia. It's, like, a really cool visual, and, like, it's, I don't know, it's definitely, like, a part of their city's history, like, just to have that shit there. And then, you know, people were up in arms because, like, just white trash fucking Philly people were just, like, standing out in front of it with their fucking, like, baby mamas and shit, and like just redneck ass, but like city people, like Philadelphia people, and they're like, you know, fighting protesters off, like, you're not taking down Christopher Columbus, blah blah blah. And like that became a story because it was like, oh, look at these bad people stopping protests from happening. But like, I don't know, they just didn't want the statue being taken down. They didn't go about the right way to handle it.
Yeah.
They were like assaulting people, and like those people should probably be in trouble. But like, I don't know, like just fucking, they're voicing their opinion too. It's fine.
Yeah. And that's what it is. It's a democratic process. And so if you live in a community of people that are we all pay tax money. Tax money came out of the city to erect that statue. Tax money comes out of the city to maintain that statue, to clean that statue if it gets defaced. Like, we're all a part of this. And so to just decide amongst yourselves that we're done with this, to me, I just don't see that as being a respectable thing. And it all comes down to, there seems to be this mentality, which is that there's a lot of destruction going on, because destruction is easy. You can go around and you can topple a statue. That's easy. It's not that easy to put up a statue. And so what I'd like to see more so in society right now, I understand if we want to correct certain things about our society. I get that. You know, there are points at which I disagree, but overall, if that's something that people want, then I see no problem with it, as long as you go about it in a fair and democratic process.
Safe way.
In a safe way, because people can also be safety precautions being taken there, dude. There was video.
I agree with that.
Someone
Like,
else being like, somebody got like fucking broke their fucking skull when a statue
Somebody
fell.
died.
Yeah, somebody
that.
died from that. And it's like, that's not how you do shit. You know, like, yeah.
I agree that like I don't have a problem with people taking statues down if it makes certain people feel better. Like, because if they feel like it's making them uncomfortable or it's like a dark part of history that they don't want to see every day when they're in their neighborhood, like I'm all about it. But I agree it should be done in a safe way. But
Yeah, we pushed all the Native Americans out of Baltimore years ago.
but I don't care about the statues being taken down myself because I'm like, to me they're just statues. Like if it's gonna make people feel better and make them feel like they own their city and they don't need this dirty reminder there anymore, like I'm cool with it. But I agree that it should be done in a safe way.
When you do it in a neighborhood like Little Italy, which is historically and to this day Italian, then that seems counterproductive, because it's like, okay, now you're going into a neighborhood which is built upon Italian heritage and tearing down a monument to someone that's a historical figure in their culture.
Right.
So it's like, okay, yeah, you feel uncomfortable with this, but also this is like, you know, all I'm saying is that's not something where I think somebody should just say, hey, I don't like that, I'm getting rid of it. You know, if I see something in the fucking road, like a fucking, you know, I've thought about that a bunch of times, like with a speeding camera. Like, I don't fucking like that thing. I'm like, go there and fucking smash that with a fucking sledgehammer. But I don't do it. But that's the same mentality, though, is because I just, as a person, get to decide that I don't like something, and then all of a sudden I can smash it, and that's just my right as a citizen. No, it's fucking not.
Yeah.
No, it's fucking not. You know, there's ways to go about these things, and that's not it. And if you're gonna deface something and destroy something, then you better have something to replace it with. You know, we can't just have this society where everybody's just gonna go, we're just gonna destroy fucking everything. But then you can't tear everything down if you do have an alternative. I'll be down. Dude, if they said, let's replace the statue of Christopher Columbus in the harbor with a statue of Frederick Douglass, I'd vote for that. Frederick Douglass was a fucking awesome ass dude. If you read his life history and you read what he did for not just Black America, but America as a whole, he's one of the greatest figures in American history of all time, and we should have a monument. I mean, we have Frederick, Maryland. We have, you know, like entire cities named after him. Like that's reality. But if we want to decide that as a society to do that, that's how you do it. We can't exist in this world where we just allow a mob of people to decide for themselves that they're going to do whatever the fuck they want to do, and then it's our job to just say, oh, well, it made them feel sad or made them feel uncomfortable, so let them just do whatever they want. Let them tie strings around it and throw it in the fucking harbor. You know, like that's the best fucking
I understand both
majority
sides of it.
white mob, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. That's the other problem. A lot of these fucking mobs are not. Dude, do you think if you're a fucking black guy living in West Baltimore, dealing with the drugs and the criminal violence and the gang violence and all the things that are going on in the
Police violence.
Yeah, the police violence and all the different things that are happening in the city, do you think that your primary concern is a fucking Columbus statue that most people didn't even know was fucking there? Other than my fucking brother, because he works across the street from it. Nobody was that.
I didn't even know it was a statue of Columbus, by the way.
I didn't even know. Yeah, because I
We
heard
literally
about
had
it.
to
in the
Google
statue.
what the statue was of.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I heard that the statue got torn down and that it was like a Columbus statue. But I was like, I've never seen that in my life.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know where that's about, but it's by the harbor, I guess, because they didn't like take it down in fucking Hamden and fucking drive it down there. Like,
Yeah. And it is literally what pisses me off the most about these types of things is it's not, they pitch it to you as if it's a group, a minority community that is feeling like oppressed or uncomfortable because of this statue. When in reality, it's not. It's the fucking woke, college educated fucking, I mean,
Yeah.
like it's those people that are organizing these things, that are telling people, hey, we're all going to meet up on the 4th of July and tear down the Columbus statue. You look in the crowd, it's majority white people that are doing it. It's
That is
not
usually
because
true,
if you're
yeah.
a fucking person who's actually suffering from the reality of police and crime and drugs and poverty and all the other and educational failure and all the other things that are plaguing that community, they're not worried about a fucking statue. They're not. It's the fucking white people that aren't worried about anything and have the time to sit there and go, oh, well, looks like there's a Columbus statue down at the harbor. Let's go organize a thing and take that down. That's how we make a difference. You're not doing shit. That's to make yourself feel better. That pisses me off.
And I agree it should be done in a more organized way and in a more safe way.
it's a classic got him, dude. You just got him.